Welcome to Founders Future, the podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Jay Encarnacion, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, we are thrilled to have Erick Simpson, the founder of MSP Mastered and ErickSimpson.com. Erick is a multi-award winning MSP expert influencer and thought leader with over 30 years of IT experience, having built one of the first pure play MSPs and created the MSP Mastered methodology. Recognized as Synchros's #1 MSP resource in North America and a two-time Channel Pro 2020 visionary, his business empowers IT service providers and channel vendors to achieve profitable growth through consulting, coaching, and training. We'll be exploring his founding story, how MSP Mastered transforms IT businesses, and his vision for scaling this impact-driven venture. So let's dive right in. Erick, welcome to Founders Future.
Thanks for having me, Jay. It's my pleasure.
Absolute pleasure having you on. So let's start at the very top here for our listeners, Erick. Take us back to the beginning. What specific problem in the managed services landscape really inspired you to create MSP Master?
It was back in the very, very beginning, before there were managed IT services. These are services that are very familiar to businesses today, where you outsource your entire IT role and responsibility to an organization that is responsible for managing business continuity, cybersecurity, and all these other things. Today, it's very well known and a proven business model. When I exited the enterprise to launch my own IT practice, it did not exist. The way that services were delivered back then, this was in the late 90s, Jay, so I'm aging myself a little bit. It was called more of the time and materials model, or more commonly known as the break fix model, where we would deliver services to our clients, but they would call us when something was broken. This was way before the advent of the internet and maybe the beginnings of email and things like that. It was just at the very crux of where there was no real remote connectivity. We didn't have tools to really monitor our clients' endpoints and infrastructures, or the way we delivered support remotely was through dial-up modems, 28800 baud with PC Anywhere. So these were the old days.
Yep.
So we grew the company for a few years and then decided that we wanted to try something unique and different. We called it flat rate IT, which today is more commonly known as managed services, or MSP model. And we made all the mistakes that we possibly could make in trying to figure out how to deliver these services on a subscription basis, with clients paying us in advance on a monthly basis, that monthly recurring revenue that is such an attraction today to business owners. So we had to educate our clients to get there, and we perfected that model. Your question about how did we see the opportunity to grow it, we really didn't have a business model to coach and train other IT providers until we started being asked to do so by some of the channel vendors in the industry at that time. Hey, you guys are knocking out of the park with managed services. We were just head down trying to build a business, Jay. So it was we were in our own world trying to just grow our business. And then we started getting asked, can you share your knowledge and help train our channel partners? And that spawned a completely different entrepreneurial journey for me.
Incredible. Incredible. So with that being said, walk us through a bit here, Erick, of how MSP Mastered's offering have evolved since you began. So the services, like you have consulting, coaching, the master classes, and who you serve, how's that changed over time?
Initially, when we had this opportunity to engage with a completely different business model, training, coaching, we became a coaching and training and events organization and launched MSP University. So MSP University was an organization that we ran in tandem for a while with our MSP practice, until we decided that there was so much more opportunity in helping others grow into this new model that we accepted an offer to sell the MSP practice. So we exited that organization and then grew MSP Mastered into an organization that held 12 to 15 live events every year. It grew internationally. We trained about 30,000 IT providers over a 10-year period on how to become MSPs. I wrote 4 best-selling books for the audience, 50 best practice guides. And we really were doing that live event training. We did a little bit of coaching, group coaching here and there. And how we evolved that over time to grow it and meet the needs of our clients, to create a model where we looked at delivering value in 3 different ways. It's that do it yourself,
Okay.
do it with our guidance, or we help you do it. So do it yourself, we built this huge platform, and now it's over at mspmastered.com, where MSPs or IT providers can subscribe and they can get all kinds of training for their entire teams, download hundreds of assets, forms, agreements, calculators, everything that you need really to build your own managed service practice or improve your practice. You can do it yourself on your own time. So that's the subscription. Then we have the coaching, which is do it with our guidance. So we coach MSPs one-on-one on helping them overcome their business challenges. And then we have higher level consulting, a more mature MSP practice that has the same challenges that smaller MSPs do, but because they're larger, they're bigger problems now. So that's when we roll up our sleeves as a team and engage directly with those internal business units to help them overcome their challenges, increase their operational efficiencies, profitability. And we're doing a ton of M&A consulting nowadays, Jay. So that's where the new paradigm has shifted now. All these partners that we've been working with for the last 20 years or so are now at a point where they're ready to sell their companies. And so we're using our experience to help with those transactions as well.
Incredible. I know a big one was Veritas that went through an M&A not too long ago. So I know you definitely had your hand in that pot there for a bit. So walk us through here. I would love to get into the nuts and bolts for our listeners, because there could be many listeners here that can end up being clients of yours, especially with how in-depth this conversation can be. So walk us through how you're really offering these things. So you have the coaching, consulting, the training. When they come to you, how is it structured for your clients?
It's pretty simply. We try to make it as simple and easy as possible. And we understand that every business owner is at a different level of maturity in their business. So again, that's why we structured these different deliverables the way we have, so that you get what you need when you need it and make it easily accessible and affordable to you. So if you're just starting out and need some contracts or some guidance or processes, service desk improvement, things like that, project management improvement, sales, do it on your own time, fully accessible. Entrepreneurs, Jay, we don't sleep. We're working on our business like 24/7.
Yeah.
So when you need something any day of the week, anytime, you can get it that way. And then structuring it from a coaching perspective, not everybody knows when they need help. And I think that I went through that journey as well. It's getting to where I thought I could take an organization to the best of my ability. And I had mentors and coaches that helped me overcome some of those growth challenges and some of those bottlenecks. And so we always try to turn around what we've learned and deliver it back to our clients. And we've led with thought leadership. I think that's the one distinguishing factor from our organization, Jay, is that we have trained and coached and worked with so many partners in the MSP channel. And in fact, taking the go-giver mentality, where I'm one of those folks that really wants to help. I want to move the needle for our clients and colleagues, not just cash checks, right? Because there's only so far you can get when you're just worried about bringing in revenue. But when you're delivering real value and really listening and understanding to what your clients' needs are and working with more and more clients, you begin to build a much different perspective on how to solve problems. And now we've really begun doing a lot more in terms of introducing partners to each other or to vendors, and then helping vendors then adjust their channel programs to meet the needs of the managed service providers, who are very unique in their business model. And so the programs that are appealing to MSPs are ones that not only are, can you get me a solution or some hardware that I can resell to my client and make a markup, but it's more about a true partnership. How can you help me grow my business? And I'm happy to say that today, the majority of the vendors in the space are very MSP friendly, that focus on MSPs, where when we were building our practice, there were no MSP friendly programs. When we had to buy licenses to get the best price, we had to buy 1,000 licenses or agents in order, and then hope we could sell them very quickly to make some profit, right? So today's partners need a lot more help in terms of growing their businesses, sales and marketing, MDF funds to help defray the cost of bringing in new leads and prospects, pre-sale support, post-sale support, engineering. And I've got to say, I'm very proud that the vendors and the distributors have stepped up to meet the changing needs of this really unique group of technology partners that are managed service providers.
Absolutely. And just incredible how in-depth and detailed and just passionate you are, clear as day why you're seeing so much success. So help us understand a bit here, Eric. What's working best for you today as far as new client acquisition goes? I know that you've done so much already, but what's working now? Is it more of that referral, word of mouth? Is it ads? Is it social media, organic? What does that look like from the outside?
Yeah, it's interesting, Jay. I'm sure that when you speak to entrepreneurs, a lot of them will say, my 20-year goal wasn't to end up doing what I'm doing now. I just ended up here because I said yes to a lot of opportunities. Yeah, I regret a few of them, but for the most part, it was very positive. I had no idea that I'd be doing what I'm doing now 20 years ago. I figured we'd have a very successful IT practice, right, that was growing, and that's where my mindset was. But something awakened in me because I like to joke and say, I come from the enterprise. I worked my way up from help desk positions all the way up to CTO positions, CIO positions. And I like to joke sometimes, Jay, and say, I used to be the people hating engineer. It's the engineer that doesn't want to talk to anybody, that no, you talk to the back of my head because my head's in my monitors and I'm doing my thing. And at the end of the conversation that you have with the back of my head, I say something like, okay, look, just email me and I'll take care of it. Open a ticket. That kind of stuff.
Yep.
But through this journey, I really started to really completely transform from what I thought or who I thought I was to someone that really enjoys interacting with people. And I'm telling you, that's not how I'm naturally wired. So I'm adapting it because I enjoy it. And since I really love helping others, it has really, it's very fulfilling. Let's just say that. So the passion that you identified there is something that I never thought that I would enjoy as much as I do, because I'm really an introvert, right? Me and my wife are two different people. Like, she is the extrovert. When you go to a party and you watch the people there, you figure out two different groups, right? The folks that are really having the party and the folks that are over in the corner checking their phone, answering email, just waiting for it to be over. I'm right here, honey, when you're ready, right? That's me. But when I'm doing what I love doing and I'm passionate about it, it's very fulfilling.
Incredible. Yeah, on that acquisition side of things, walk us through what's working best for you guys there.
So from a new client acquisition
New
perspective,
client acquisition. Yep. So I mean, if
yes.
you guys are running ads, word of mouth, referrals, what's working best on that front?
Yeah, so we do a ton of digital marketing. We do a ton of webinars. Think about the other opportunity that's opened up as we've been able to earn the trust and confidence of this large market of managed service providers, because we're seen as the pioneers of the managed services, one of the few pioneers of the managed services movement early on, right? And have just been delivering this value all these years. So now we have this trust and perception of not just being a vendor to MSPs, but really being a trusted advisor that's been there. So we continue to deliver lots of thought leadership content. And then we work with a lot of vendors to help them also connect with these MSPs and make sure that when we're working with them to build channel programs or offers or helping promote their message to the MSPs, that they're really, again, focused on helping the MSPs get what they need out of those relationships. So because we're working with both sides of the channel now, our brand and awareness is sky high. And it's something that has come because we care about our clients, whether they're MSPs, whether they're vendor clients or distributors. We have that philosophy that the rising tide lifts all boats, right? I had a mentor one time that said, look, don't worry about revenue. If you're doing right by your clients, that will come. That can't be your passion, though. And so I took that to heart.
I love it. So on that same front, what does the team look like as far as sales process wise? So from initial contact to signing a client with you, do you have a sales team in place, marketing team? What does that look like from the outside looking in?
Yeah, we do. And like any organization, you have some churn and you're always dealing with getting the best folks in the right seat on the bus that are doing things right. But typically our sales process is organic. So when we're marketing, we're not really selling. We're delivering value from a webinar or a speaking engagement at an event or offering some of our tools for free to get folks to engage with us. And so we have a lot of SEO that works in our favor. On the MSP side, we don't do a lot of outbound marketing. It is done, but not very frequently. On the vendor and distributor side, we do have a CRO that kind of manages that outreach because it takes a lot of extra effort to engage with these potentially larger opportunities and deliver the strategic value that those types of clients are looking for, and making sure that we're designing a program that works for everybody and delivers from an MSP first perspective. So I always look at our true clients are the MSPs themselves, because I am a former MSP. And so that's the lens that we look through when we're doing any kind of outreach to MSPs, or we're working with vendors on their behalf to connect them with MSPs. And it seems to work out really well from a thought leadership perspective for us.
So on that front, I'm definitely curious to hear your take on this because it really does sound like everything is clicking here for you. Is there any specific bottleneck that you're thinking about as far as it comes to growth, whether that be qualified lead generation or converting those leads into clients or delivering services with your current capacity? What's something there that you can point to?
Oh, absolutely. As with any industry, right? Competition
Mhm.
is a lot more prevalent and active now than when we started doing this maybe 20 years ago. For a while there, we were the only resource that
Mhm.
the channel had because we were the early pioneers, along with a handful of others that were really, and we're all colleagues. Like we were in the trenches together, figuring this stuff out and then delivering back to the community. And I got to say, the MSP community is unique and different than any other community that I've ever been exposed to in the channel. Like we really have folks that want to help each other. It's
Yeah.
very different than, that's my trade secret. There are no secrets in
Yeah.
delivering IT services. It's how strategic you are, what value you bring to your end customers, and things like that. But the bottlenecks that we see are, yes, there are other competitors out there that are now and better marketers than we are, candidly. Like they
Yeah.
are marketing experts and they're marketing to MSPs. And then there are other agencies out there that are also competitive to us that are marketing to our vendor clients and distributor clients. How we niche down, Jay, and are successful is because we really lean on that MSP DNA. Like we were at the inception of the managed services movement. The folks on our team are either ex MSPs themselves or analysts and journalists from
Mhm.
the beginning and have interviewed presidents and CEOs of top technology organizations and vendors. And so have that connection and have that expertise and that following that complements what we're doing together for MSPs and vendors. So that's really, I think, what's differentiated us is that we were there from the very beginning and we really understand the channel and the community better than any of the other competitors, I like to think.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. With that in mind, it still seems that you really are clicking with everything is clicking at all the right time. So where are you fully focused as far as your top priority goes for the next 6 to 12 months, whether that be any specific revenue targets or impact goals or anything growth wise that you're focused on? What does that look like for the next year for you?
Yeah, replacing some of the hats some of the team is wearing. As we grow, we're always trying to replace ourselves as leaders and bring others in so that we can be more strategic, right? The more strategic we are, just like in any industry, Jay, the more valuable we become. The more tactical we are, the more of a commodity we become,
Yes.
right? So we're trying to maintain that real strategic focus with our clients. And it's difficult for us because we're very discerning in
Mm.
the folks that we want to bring on because we've set this expectation that we want to maintain of being very consultative, very strategic. There are few folks in the industry and channel that have that experience and expertise, and the ones that do are already working at other organizations,
Mm.
right? So that's the challenge, is how do we replace ourselves? How do we grow? And how do we diversify in a way that allows folks to really focus more of their time in their strategic area of expertise rather than swapping hats around? So that's the challenge. And always the challenge is trying to get the best marketing strategy, the best marketing resources to come to bear. Because remember, I'm just an engineer, right? So I have to find people that are way smarter than me in all these other areas to help us grow. And I think that's the biggest takeaway that I've found over time, is understanding that as technologists, as IT providers, I think that as that category of business owner, we're really good at that thing.
Yes.
Because we're so good at it, we think we're good at everything.
Yeah.
Right? And let's not forget that to start an IT company or a managed service practice or cybersecurity is a little bit different, but managed services, IT company, outsourced IT, help desk, and things like that, there is no certification or university credential that you have to meet to get there. We don't have to pass the bar exam to be an MSP, right? So that means that we're basically home growing all the things that we don't know and learning by making a lot of mistakes. What I've learned and have paid the price to learn is, you should know when you need to stop trying to do it yourself and bring someone in that is better at that thing than you. And whether that's something that is a fractional relationship
Mhm.
or a coach or a mentor, or if you mature at a point where you can afford a full-time employee to come in and do that, or a business partner or something like that, then that is what you should be doing, because there's only so many hours in the day. And as we like to think aspirationally, Jay, we should be focusing 100% of our time on the things that only we can do in the perfect world, and have everybody else fill in those things that complement what the business needs, because they are passionate and experts in those things that only they can do. It's a constant challenge, and it's a light at the end of the tunnel that we're always striving to get to, and that's kind of where we are.
I love it. I just have one more question for you to wrap us up today, Eric. It's been incredible having you on. I love your energy. It's clear as day how intelligent you are and why you've seen so much success in your career. So the last question for you here is going to be, what is a piece of advice, Eric, that you can give to our listeners, so other founders, entrepreneurs, business owners who want to have that drive like you do, or want to see that success like you're seeing? What can you offer them before we wrap up here?
Yeah, I think the best advice I could give someone is to find peer groups, find community, find a mentor, find like-minded folks that are willing to share, because it's true, the adage, it's lonely at the top. Entrepreneurs, we can't really come home and to our significant others and share all of our pain and our challenges and struggles and all that, right? So we've got to find others that are like us, that can share experiences, that can help us overcome some of these things. If I had started doing that a lot earlier in my career, Jay, I probably would have saved myself, my team, and my family a lot of grief early on. So I think that would be my number one thing, is just, and work outside of your comfort zone. If you're an introvert like me, you've got to get outside of that. I think that some folks say that the only way to get somebody to really get outside their comfort zone is to push them outside their comfort zone, right? Yeah, you've got to have a drive to do that. And then just work on yourself, work on your leadership, work on your speaking skills, work on your soft skills. That's the other thing that I've learned. You're not going to get very far hating people, right? So you've got to adapt outside of that. And it's true. It's the people that you know that open opportunities and doors for you, and come to someone with something that you can offer them. The first thing that I like to try to always do when I engage with someone, Jay, is ask them, how can I help you? How can I help you? And that seems to really change the dynamic of that relationship from the very first conversation.
Incredible. With that right there, that is going to wrap up another inspiring episode of Founders Future. Eric, I just want to thank you again. An incredible journey so far. Truly appreciate you coming on the show and sharing your insights with us today. I know I'm going to keep following along with you, see how far you take it, because I know you're going to continue to see success. To our listeners, if you did enjoy this episode, which I know so many of you have, don't forget to subscribe to Founders Future wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. You can also check out MSP Mastered at ericksimpson.com or mspmastered.com for their transformative consulting and coaching services. And follow Erick on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/in/Erick Simpson. For more resources and insights, please visit closers.io, where we're dedicated to helping businesses accelerate their growth through trained appointment setters and world-class marketing systems. Until then, keep climbing, and we'll see you on the next one.